The journey continues. Now let's talk about Thor. Hello one and all, and what is going on, everybody? As you know, starting a few days ago, I began my journey to Avengers Infinity War, and what we've done, we started out with Iron Man, and now we've made it all the way to Thor. Now let's talk about this. Thor was directed by Kenneth Brannagh, and if you don't remember him, you might remember a certain somebody who played Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. It's the same exact guy, and he directed Thor, and Thor is just flat out one of my favorite Marvel movies ever. It's an origin story of a brash young man, somebody who thinks he's better than everybody else, somebody who thinks he doesn't have to obey the rules and gets cast down and banished from Asgard and has to become the best version of himself that he can be. Honestly, is there any reason not to like this movie? First of all, the risk that Marvel took once again allowing Kenneth Brannagh to direct this. As we know, Kenneth Brannagh, him as a director and him as an actor, he's a very, very big fan of Shakespeare. He's a very big fan of those older, obviously I can't speak. He's a big fan of those old classical Shakespearean tales, family, love, loss, all that good stuff. And he pretty much came to Kevin Feige and the whole creative team behind Marvel and said, it's all the same thing. Literally, Shakespeare and our story with the gods, it's just a story about family. And that's one of the best aspects about Thor. And we get introduced not only to Thor, not only Chris Hemsworth's excellent performance as the guy, we get introduced to one of the best Marvel MCU villains, period. And that is Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Tom Hiddleston, Chris Hemsworth, right out of the gate, these two are going to have insanely great chemistry, and they do. You see the contrast of someone who has to learn his lesson and someone who is so jealous of his brother that he will do anything that he can to take him down. And before we move on, yes, the relationship that Chris Hemsworth has with Natalie Portman in this movie, I'm with everybody else. The relationship, it just is not there. I never bought their chemistry. I thought it was horrendously done. It bored me. What can I say? If that portion of the movie was just taken out, if Chris Hemsworth worked with Natalie Portman and her whole team together in this film, but they didn't end up having a relationship, honestly, I thought it would be better. And of course, we have Stellan Skarsgård in this film. And of course, who doesn't remember him? Who doesn't love the really, really nasty, arrogant math teacher from Good Will Hunting? But of course, back to Thor. Honestly, this is an origin story of somebody who becomes a true superhero. Somebody who is stricken? Whatever. It's taken somebody who has a very, very powerful lesson to learn, and he learns that lesson through and through and becomes the person we all know him to be. He becomes Thor. He becomes that superhero that we want to strive to be. And yes, considering this is a film in the MCU that ties in to the Avengers, they are there, and they're pretty darn sweet, especially when one particular character shows up. When I first saw the movie, I didn't know he was going to be in here, but I was so happy to see him. It's a powerful story about family, love, loss, and everything that comes with being a superhero. Guys, I already told you, I really only have one big issue with Thor, and I can overlook that really terrible relationship and chemistry that is thrown up on screen to say that Thor is not only a great movie, Thor is not only a great redemption story, but Thor is suit-worthy. And all of you know how this goes as you follow me on this journey. The next review coming up tomorrow will be Iron Man 2. I can't wait for you guys to see that. This has been a fantastic journey. I can't wait to see you there. And we just got through The God of Thunder. But as always, guys, it is what you say that matters. So have you had a chance to see Thor, and what did you think of it? More importantly, where does Thor list with the first phase of Marvel MCU films? Whatever your answer may be, leave it down below so we can get a conversation started. And if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right there and subscribe and become part of the fray of nerds who love cinema. You all have a fantastic day.